And welcome in to the Paul Kuharsky podcast. I'm Paul Kuharsky of paulkuharsky.com. I like to say my name a lot at the beginning. Reminds me who I am. I'm at Edley's Barbecue, 12 South. Best barbecue place in town. One of the best restaurants in town. Should come here or to one of their many locations in and around Nashville. They've got the place surrounded. It's great food, great service, great portions, great prices. Great cold drinks. Can't beat it. Going to smell it as it goes on. I'm going to have lunch here after we're done. Robert, Dwayne, Adam, good to see a lot of the regulars. Hope to see lots of people in. Pass the word that we are here. We're going to talk. I've got like mini conversations with several guys about key topics going on here. JC Latham about his recovery. Draymond Jones about kind of coming to life and moving forward as a defensive front without Jeffrey Simmons, who we're not expecting to see this week. Cedric Gray about his breakthrough. He's played 4 really good games in a row, a bright spot for this team. Roger McCreary about the secondary moving forward without L'Jarius Sneed, who's not played well, but I dare say they're better with him than without him. Peter Skoronski on multiple offensive line coaches and kind of moving forward still with the Bill Callahan philosophy, which you wouldn't expect them to change immediately. Got some picks for you. My picks record against the spread, 11-5, pretty good, 2-0 last week. So we'll get into all of that. Nice to see all of you. Dwayne says he noticed Latham limping after some plays in the Patriots game. I don't know. He wouldn't put a number on it. I'll get to video of him. Certainly a hip. It's going to take a while to get back from, kind of in the way that it took Skoronski a while to come back from the appendectomy. I think it's different than a lot of different injuries. I think it prevented him from the sort of fitness that you would like. And, he didn't think he was that. He thought he made 2 big mistakes in this game, but that there wasn't that much bad stuff. Let's go right into him. Here's a little conversation I had with him about where he is compared to kind of where he thought he was going to be in training camp when everything felt great, right? He had made the move to right tackle. He had lost a lot of weight. Kind of before the team asked him to do that, he realized, hey, I've got to be a lot slimmer in order to be the effective kind of guy I want to be. Here's JC Latham.
You got to build to come back to what I was in training camp, but I made significant improvement from. I'm saying game 1 being Raiders, from game 1 to game 2. So, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day, to continuously make the improvements. It sucks because we're, week 8 now, and for me, it's game 4. So it's like, and really game 3 because, 3rd consecutive game. So you're just trying to keep building and just doing things to not overwhelm yourself and not cause another injury, but just do more so you can try to catch up into rhythm and strive with everybody else.
How much room between where you are now and where you are confident you can be?
Last game, I gave up that sack on that 31. I feel like I had a really clean game outside of that. The whole, but plays like that, when situations like that occur, you try your best to avoid them, but sometimes they're pretty hard. So those 2 things really stood out to me, but. If I could just keep climbing, I feel like I'm close to playing a pretty clean game to give the team the best chance to succeed.
I imagine the hip limited your mobility during rehab, and that slows you down.
Yeah, 100%. I can't go into details about it, but it's just
not as fit as or ready as you were coming into the season.
Absolutely not. Yeah, deterred. Yeah, for sure.
Deterred. So where are you now on that scale? Are you almost there?
I wouldn't give out a number, but I'll say I'm pretty close to getting back to what I was. Like I said, just a couple plays last game that I would have cleaned up on. Outside of that, like I said, I'm coming close to playing a pretty complete game and giving the team the best chance to succeed.
I know there's a lot of engagement Sorry, I know there's a lot of engagement farming going on with people immediately. He's 2 games back from a hip injury. Look, and I know people are sick of being patient with things. I'm sick of being patient with things, believe me. But to suggest that J.C. Latham needs to move to guard right now is just insane. The guy moved from right tackle to left tackle coming out of college. He played a season at left tackle. Now he's been moved to right tackle. He needs to play at right tackle for a set amount of time, for a long time, and settle in. You move him to guard right now. First off, who are you benching? You're benching Zeitler, and then you're bringing in Udo at right tackle. Is that a better combination? I'm not convinced it is. But this idea that you're somehow helping him by moving him to guard, you got to let him play out this season. A lot of smart people are convinced that he is going to be fine at right tackle. I think you need to see him at right tackle. He's got Mauler ability at right tackle at times, and leave him there. Let's see what he can do there. This is nonsense talk about moving him so quickly to guard. How's that teen driver doing? DJ from Nashville asks about my son, who is 1 week into driving. He drove, about 25 minutes, half hour to his baseball practice last night on his own, and all was well. So good news from that front. Thank you for asking. Sneed's dead money after this year. Adam's asking about. Richard has posted numbers: 8 million dead. And 11 million cap savings there about. I don't expect Sneed to be back after this year. I expect them to kind of concede that it's been what it's been, which is pretty much a disaster. They traded a 3rd-round pick and gave him a new contract expecting elite-level play out of L'Jarius Sneed. They have not gotten elite-level play out of L'Jarius Sneed. And, who knows what that 3rd-round pick would have been. But you would hope it would have been better than what they've gotten out of L'Jarius Sneed. A lot of people presuming that he's done. I don't know. He's done for 4 weeks for sure. McCoy not at all revealing about things. I don't know why it's such a benefit. Teams starting 5 weeks from now are going to have to speculate as to whether he returns or not. If Sneed is found guilty in this civil case in Texas, does that give the Titans an out with no dead money? Civil judgment is not going to hurt him at all. And the criminal case is more significant, but that's down to a misdemeanor. And the question is whether he failed to report, an assault, a felony assault or battery with intent to kill or with potential to kill done by his associate, which is not a good look. But I don't know how much trouble you get into with the league or with your team for misdemeanor, being found guilty of a misdemeanor of that nature. So I don't think the Titans are going to get out of much as a result of that. JC as a guard, Michael says, is ridiculous. They cry Kuharsky won't try tackle. Now they're trying to force a tackle to guard. Well said. Absolutely on target. Latham, David said, is one of the bright spots on this team. I think that's a little bit of a push. Is it time for Will Levis apologies? That Cam Ward is having similar struggles to Will Levis, and that the coaching staff has not done better with a guy who I think most of us would continue to say is a better quarterback than Will Levis, does not make what Will Levis did any better. And I think Will Levis was given a fair chance. Will Levis didn't come into the league with nearly the expectations that Cam Ward has come into the league with. Levis didn't get a full 2 years, but he got a 2-year look, if you will. Cam will get more than a 2-year look. But if Cam is making the kind of mistakes that Will Levis is making 2 years in, there will be more criticism of Cam at that stage. I mean, again, Cam Ward can't be dropping the ball, and that's a really bad, bad and sloppy. But is it a processing error, like the trying to throw the ball out of bounds and getting it picked, or trying to pitch a ball back to Tajay Spears? I would still argue that the processing errors are worse on the Levis side. Now, I know the overall numbers look better on the Levis side, and if you want to argue in his favor in that regard, you're certainly free to do so. Josh says the fantasy just seems like it wants instant success and doesn't understand up and downs with development. And then a guy bursts on the scene. I mean, Dart was making some crazy throws and ultimately was the key figure in a massive collapse by the Giants. But he's had 3 games where his overall numbers have been pretty good. Mason Kinsey has been promoted from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. So that answers one of the questions about what the Titans are going to do at receiver. And I'm going to tweet that. At least part of the answer at a depleted receiver position, period. Hashtag Titans. There. You see how the sausage is made. Wyatt got a retweet out of that since we're engaged here. Bryce Oliver has not practiced Wednesday, Thursday this week. So appears still to not be ready this week. I've talked to him, checked in with him almost weekly. I like Bryce a lot, and he feels ready. So was talking to another member of the press, a newer member of the press, who said, boy, it sure seems like the way it works here is guys are ready and the team holds them back. And it does feel that way. Titans are cautious with people. But Bryce Oliver needs to get back out there. Adam, still on the Latham thing, says, I think it's a positive for the all-line in general that failed tackles can often succeed as guards, but Latham still has a lot of development to do. I mean, I think failed tackles excelling as guards is not uncommon in the league. You have less space to deal with. If Latham wound up a guard, which I do not think is going to happen, having the 7th pick in the draft and the 11th pick in the draft both be guards, even though they drafted Skoronski as a guard, it's just not good value use of those picks. I'm not saying that's what's happening because I totally think that Latham is going to be a tackle. Dwayne says Latham was good at right tackle at Alabama. I know that's not the NFL, but I hope another first-round pick doesn't turn into a guard. Dwayne's part of the All-22. This is a huge topic in our chat room, the frustration about first-round guards in general. And, if Latham winds up being a guard, it'd just be a further indictment of the use of first-round picks. And the Titans have to start using first-round picks on first-round positions. Talking about, they've used one on quarterback. Now, edge rushers, right? Receivers, cornerbacks. Now, you're not using, top 5 pick probably on a receiver or a corner. But if they're in the top 5, you're hoping that they bail out of the top 5. And once you're at 8 or 9, all of those positions are in play, and the Titans need all of them desperately. It's very hard not to picture them really wanting to give Cam Ward a premier receiver. At the same time, edge is such a black hole for the team. That's why if they could get in position to have 2 first-round picks in the 2026 draft, I think they would just be So good. If you could go edge, receiver, receiver, edge, and then get yourself a cornerback, and all three of those guys could be year one contributors, could begin to transform this team. What is the last trade the Titans made where they won the trade? Well, they won a DeMarco Murray trade. They won a Ryan Tannehill trade. They won a Dennis Kelly trade. Those are three off the top of my head. Those are not ancient history trades. I don't know how many trades they've made since that. So I think we're being a little recency bias. You guys help me and list out the more recent trades. Traded Ernest Jones and got much more for Ernest Jones. Not much more, but they did better dealing Ernest Jones than they did dealing for Ernest Jones. They won that trade. So it's not been all losses. The Sneed trade is a big loss for Chance. Is there a real chance it could trade Ridley? It sure would help if Ridley was healthy. Trade deadline's November 4th. Today is October 24th. I haven't heard the Steelers thing. I much prefer that rather than saying that you heard it, you say so-and-so said it. That would tell us a little bit about the credibility of it. I'm teaching a media ethics class right now. We just did a big thing on sourcing. You know, if a report says 6 Justice Department officials said, well, that's got a lot more credence than people familiar with the situation said. So if we could do better at saying who said it, then I could assess the credibility of it a lot better. Heard the Steelers were interested. And I doubt that's true because I don't think Arthur Smith and Calvin Ridley had a love affair in Atlanta. Do I think the reason that there's very little RPO being called is that it doesn't facilitate proper footwork when quarterbacks pass, trying to get them out of bad habits that RPO may have contributed to? I think that's a great question, Ed. And I'm going to write that down. RPO footwork. And does that create a conflict with regular footwork? I'll ask Mike McCoy about that this afternoon. I also have a suspicion that what they worked on with RPOs in training camp was not great. And, in training camp, you're looking to throw stuff away as you cull your playbook, and that stuff may have gotten culled, which doesn't mean never bring it back or never go back to it, or completely give up on it. James Pirtle says dead money is a minimal issue. Certainly with L'Jarius Sneed, dead money would be not a big issue. Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Which trade was worse for the Titans, Julio Jones or Sneed? Julio Jones was a second, right? I mean, if you look at production you got from the guy and what you gave up, if Julio Jones, if I'm remembering correctly, was in fact the second, you got very little out of Julio Jones. I'd have to say Jones was worse. The thing is, the Jones injury stuff was not as consistently bad. But, I mean, he got hurt in no time once he got here and was out of camp, and production was poor. They were both really bad. The temptation, just you can't clamor for them to add these veterans when they get to be a better football team. It's just not, if you think the guy's the last piece of the puzzle, trades have not worked for them. I don't know that Sneed was the last piece of the puzzle. Julio Jones was supposed to be the last piece of the puzzle. And look, I was on board with that. I said, got for a while they had look, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, pick your poison. They were going to kill everybody. and it just didn't go with that. Adam says, also just release Pollard now, like Lockett, and let him try to land with the contender. Who gives a shit if he's with the contender or not? This thing where you're doing guys a favor is so overrated by you guys, Adam. Why should the Titans give a shit where Tony Pollard plays? They don't owe him anything. They've paid him kindly. So that part I'm completely out on. Or trade him if he has value, but I doubt he has much. Here's the thing. They don't have better than Tony Pollard. I mean, Spears should get 50% of the carries now, I think. At least. He's got more juice. And Tony Pollard ran out of juice in 1 year. Disappointing. But I don't want to see Julius Chestnut or the guys that they have on the practice squad. So, look, Tony Pollard doesn't run for more than 11 yards. And Spears might. I'd rather see Spears, frankly. But outside of that, they don't have any legitimate, viable alternatives. And so you got to ride it out with who you got. Tony Pollard is a pro, does things the right way. There still is value in those sorts of things for this team at this stage. What do I think about Kalen DeBoer as a potential head coach for the Titans? I don't think the Tennessee Titans of the NFL are a better job than Alabama. I don't think it wouldn't pay more. And I think you got to have somebody that's got some kind of NFL experience. I don't picture the Titans as taking a flyer on even a very good college coach. KT's fun. I know there's kind of a conversation going amongst you guys about the Will Levis, Cam Ward stuff. And KT's fun says the Titans had more hope that Levis's Titans team and could have won some games if not for his play specifically. And I think that's a fair point. His play specifically held the Titans back. Nick Williams, I don't know why this is coming up. Nick Williams dropped an easy touchdown, and the Titans lost to the rookie Josh Allen. You know, I was looking, this is also a non sequitur, I was looking at, in the Restrepo piece I wrote this week, which you should read if you haven't, at undrafted rookie receivers and the propensity for Titans fans to love them. And you know one that they didn't love? Cody Hollister. It's interesting because Cody Hollister earned his way up, and he was a blocking receiver. Didn't do much catching-wise. But undrafted rookie receivers, Titans fans love, generally. Overrate, think they're going to be Randy Moss. And Cody Hollister had no love. People quickly realized what Cody Hollister couldn't do. Restrepo, he should be Burke Nihill and Chad Brinker and Mike Waganzi rolled all into one. He's the savior of this team. It's interesting. What's the best plan going forward with the running back position? I think I just talked it through, but running back is a big need for this team next year. And the starting running back for the 2026 Tennessee Titans isn't on this team right now. It's one of the many positions they're going to be filling. You are the best. I was parched, and Ryan is seeing to it that I am no longer parched. My Diet Coke with lemons has arrived. Happy Friday to you, Trey, and I hope things are going well for you. Trey, great subscriber and a great all-around guy. I know he's going through a work transition, and I hope that's going well for him. Tall Texan about Kinsey promotion. Please stop with the Restrepo BS. God bless you. They still could promote one because they still are thin. So you've got, with Ridley out, you're starting Io Manor and DK. You've got Jefferson, and you've got Kinsey. Am I forgetting somebody there? They could go 4 deep, which would be fine. Do I think Bud gets into the Hall of Fame as a contributor? No. First off, I mean, it's been made clear by the Hall of Fame committee that they just don't like Bud Adams as a candidate. He's had plenty of chances to rise to the top of the contributor list and hasn't. I will say the contributor list, and I was on the contributor committee at one stage, is weak. It's a weak list. I I presented Rune Ardledge to the committee, who was, one of the inventors of Monday Night Football. I thought a compelling candidate. Got crickets really on that. But also the way the Hall of Fame voting is set up now, there's zero chance for a contributor to get in. They've made it so fewer people will get in, and a contributor is never going to get in ahead of a player or a coach. So there's just no chance for Bud Adams. And I think really the selection committee as it is currently does not like Bud Adams as a candidate. I think maybe as the committee turns over and a new group of people hear his case, maybe he'd have an outside chance, but I don't think it looks good. Was the Henry pick not involved in a trade? I think the Henry pick was part of the trade. I'm not positive it was, or it might have been the Titans' own second-round pick, but that would have been the trade for the when they had Mariota, and so they traded the number 1 pick to the Rams in the Jared Goff trade. Some local writer, can't remember who and doesn't really matter, said that footwork doesn't contribute to accuracy issues. Please find out who that was and tell him no more football advice. Well, I think you're miscasting the question a little bit. Easton Freeze was asking questions. You can't bash him for asking questions. This is a situation where a guy's trying to learn something. And so he's asking, if the feet are fixed, is the accuracy fixed? And then is there not an accuracy problem? So he's trying to separate the two and say, if this guy's doing things mechanically right from the waist down, would he be accurate? And therefore, like, if you fix his feet, is he an accurate quarterback? I don't think that's terrible. Thunder, this doesn't help me. There's an article on it by Tony Pauline. Please, everyone, as you're asking questions, give me the full context of everything you're asking in the thing, because I don't remember what Thunder said earlier. It was a second, third, and a sixth for Julio Jones. It could not have been that much for Julio Jones without other picks coming back. Shouldn't have cut Landry. Could have cut Key, still saved $7 million, but kept Landry, had the money. Having Landry, Ernest Jones, and Brownlee with a healthy Simmons, Sneed defense would be better. Well, Landry at $17 million really was petering out. I know he's played reasonably well for New England, but I didn't have a big problem with that move. Ernest Jones, I'd welcome somebody to look at Ernest Jones' money compared to Cody Barton. Cody Barton's not a good signing right now by any means. But they were sure when they dealt Ernest Jones that they weren't going to pay him what the market was asking. And Brownlee, look, you can argue with it all you want. It's a culture move. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to judge until it's down the road. Right now, Jarvis Brownlee playing for them would be better than Jarvis Brownlee not playing for them. Down the road, can they set a culture which will benefit from Jarvis Brownlee not being a part of it? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I am at Edley's. I love this place. I love this corner. I love Ryan over here, who takes care of me every Friday when I'm here. Edley's located 12 South, where I'm sitting right now. Nolansville, Franklin at the factory, Franklin at Berry Farms, which is kind of my home, Edley's, Sylvan Park, East Nashville, Donaldson, and Gallatin. You have to get the Edley's app also. Somebody pointed out to me on Twitter this week. I didn't realize just how great this delivery service that Edley's has is compared to DoorDash and Uber Eats and all of that. How fast it is, and how much money you stand to save by using it instead of those delivery apps. Get it on your phone. It's on my phone on the first or second screen. Fees have gotten out of control. Edley's is going to take care of you with that, like they take care of you with good food, big portions, reasonable prices, amazing service, cold beers, well-made cocktails, everything you want Edley's wants you to feel like you're in the restaurant, even if you're ordering in. And they want to lower your costs. It'll make your barbecue experience as smooth as possible. I don't know if I'm having burnt ends or if I'm having avocado. What do you think, Ryan? Burnt ends or avocado? She thinks I should go burnt ends. I've gone burnt ends 2 times in a row. So we'll see if I change my mind. But I'm having lunch here as soon as we're done in about a half an hour. I can't wait. Edley's Barbecue, they take care of me. I hope you'll help take care of them. It's phenomenal food. You cannot go wrong. How about Tony Vitello for Titans coach? I think it's an incredibly bold move by the Giants. I think the Giants are a good organization. Very curious to see how this goes. And if things go bad for the University of Tennessee's baseball team now, we're all going to have to plug our ears. Some of you will be the people who are inconsolable. But I'm a Vandy guy on this, so I'm looking forward to hearing or seeing Vandy take its rightful place as the best team in the state. And my son continue to dream the dream of playing there while he's young and naive and hopeful and all of that. I just retweeted. You can listen to the Paul Kuharsky podcast, watch it live and on tape here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter/X. You can listen to it later. All of the broadcasts I do on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart. So appreciate you there. I'm Paul Kuharsky at paulkuharsky.com. Great website for Tennessee Titans fans. $7.50 a month. Pay that much for a beer, a cocktail, a cup of coffee, more than that. Come to the site, get unique insight and analysis from me. I've covered the team since their final year in Houston in 1996. That's how old I am. You get also analysis from Mike Herndon, Blake Bedingfield, Braden Gall, Drew Beatty. It's a nice, hesitate to call them staff, but there's a great group of analysts looking at the team from all sides. You're not going to find that much packaged good content anywhere else. I'll send you a text message when these podcasts are happening. You become a member of a Facebook group just of people who are of like mind and members of paulkuharsky.com. 5% off when you join at Tennessee Tickets. And when you're buying tickets to expensive events in downtown Nashville, that can be a pretty significant number. So lots of benefits. Come join us if you're enjoying these podcasts. I appreciate it. Any indications that McCreary was even offered an extension? I think he told reporters yesterday he has not talked contract, and there's been no offer. Regarding Pollard, Adam says it's less about Pollard going to a contender. I really don't care either, but let Spears, Chestnut, and Mullings play is the main benefit, especially with the decision on Spears coming. Chestnut's not good, and Mullings is a situational guy. But there's no benefit to playing Chestnut. Chestnut's not going to be the first or second back on this team next year. We don't need a trial of Julius Chestnut to find that out. We already know that. And Mullings isn't going to be the lead back for this team, a 7th-round pick. He's going to be a situational heavy back. So we don't need trials for that. Does Amy or the Titans brass feel any added pressure to get this team turned around before the new stadium opens, or they just not care? They're printing money regardless. Ideally, you'd like to be good in 2027, moving into the new stadium, but they have not had a hard time selling tickets to the new stadium by all reports. And if they're fibbing, which I don't think they are, about how ticket sales have gone in the new stadium, well, they're going to be embarrassed when the time comes and the seats aren't full. MB says, the last trades that the Titans won consistently were John Robinson's trades, but it's not as if they have made a lot of trades, I would say, since then. Ernest Jones, this is good. 3 years, $28.5 million, 15 guaranteed. Cody Barton, 3 years, $21 million, $9 million guaranteed. Jones was a pending free agent extension contract. I would do that. I think the Titans have undervalued that position, and they need a good player there. Jones has a little bit of a knee question, but he was a great leader, a great spokesman just in his short time with the Titans. Now, that is $6 additional million guaranteed and $7.5 more million over 3 years. We also don't know the structure of it. Comparing those two contracts right now, James, I would certainly say I would rather have Ernest Jones. Let's look at some of the other conversations we have here. Cedric Gray, these are two clips that I put together. He's really, if you're looking for one guy who's raised his game, living up to his draft slot, made a second-year jump, this guy has been terrific. Texans game, and it's 4 games since then. Texans game, 17 tackles, really popped, and has been a reliable, good player since then. I talked with him about that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely proud of myself for how much I've grown this year as a football player, and I'll continue to grow. That's kind of something I take pride in, is always finding ways to get better. But obviously it doesn't hit the same when there's not team success with it. So we definitely have to find a way to flip things around here. Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel, always confident in myself, and kind of feel like, I'll always kind of come out in the end. But so I definitely think there was kind of like a breakthrough moment, like I could really do this, really play in this league, and I just try to keep stacking and get better.
This guy's good, and he's a guy worth rooting for. I've got nothing but good things to say about Cedric Gray. Patient, worked, watched James Williams be in front of him. I'm sure that was very frustrating during training camp. Got his chance, seized it, held on to it. It wasn't great for the first couple games. Boom, Houston, breakthrough moment. Knew he could, as he said there, knew that he could do it. Had some pride in that, even though they were losing, and has been a good player for them since that. And I think that's something to really appreciate. Have to like what Cedric Gray is doing and has done. Let's listen to Draymond Jones, who has kind of exploded the last 2 weeks compared to what he was doing before that, when he was unidentifiable, really, and you had not heard his name. Last 2 weeks been very good. I think he and Hottie Ward are I think the two most tradable guys on the team right now. Now, I don't know if anybody will come calling, but they could help somebody's pass rush how they're playing right now. I did not think that I would say the Titans had tradable pass rushers at the trade deadline based on their roster. But Draymond Jones, I asked about him playing better and about the Titans being without Jeffrey Simmons now this week and maybe longer.
Number one, tackling. It can't be just one guy. We all got to rally, especially when they get out in space. We see something. If something hits through, we got to turn and sprint our ass off to get to him, and stay in gap sound and discipline. I think he's a patient and decisive back. You don't want to peek one way, next thing you know, he's coming around in your gap. So I think those are two major things that we need to focus on.
When you've watched what he's done this year, how good is it compared to average team that you see running the ball well?
I mean, it's some of the best. I can't lie. We just gotta make sure we do our job. We gotta do our part, man. I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's NFL. That's supposed to be easy.
How do you make up for Jeff? And are you confident, or you have to be conscious of guys not trying to do too much to make up for Jeff's absence?
I think guys are very aware of who they are. I mean, guys have been in the league, before Jeff. We didn't all play with Jeff at one point. So we got here doing the things we needed to do, and you got to just continue to do it. I mean, you're not here for no reason. You know how to play football. You know your job, you know your role, you know your assignment. You know who we're going against. So we got to make sure we just be smart.
You've kind of taken off the last couple of weeks. Is it fair to say your play has increased, and what's keyed that?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I feel like I've been building up throughout the season of just getting my rush together, and then they're starting to hit. You know, it's like seeing that jump shot going in the basketball game. Once you see it hit, you know, your confidence builds, you get that rhythm, you get that flow, and I'm just making sure I'm staying on top of that. You know, I'm definitely not comfortable with so much more games. I like to put it like we got a whole college season to play. We got 10 more games to play, so I'm going out there to try to kill.
Going out there to try to kill. I like his mentality and a whole college season in front. I mean, he's been out of college for some time, but two good ways of looking at things. I like the way Draymond Jones talks, and if he can sustain the way he's playing now he's the guy that they talked about having, right? 2 games worth, though. First 5 games, largely invisible. You don't want that to be an appearance and a disappearance. If this is him, you know, they can get some good play out of him, or maybe a pick. Richard Snyder says, I think Gray is playing well and improving. My only concern is racking up tackles because other players aren't in position. Usually see the leaders in tackles on bad teams. Look, tackles is not an official stat for a reason, you know. And there are 2 sets of tackle stats, you know. You get tackle stats from the press box in game, and that's what the league uses. But then the team counts its own tackles after the game, and that's what the team uses. So I wouldn't get too excited about where it stands in tackles. But look, you want your inside linebacker to be your leading tackle. And we've seen Titans teams that don't have that. And also, you know, we expected him to be one of the first guys off the field, and he needs to be on the field, right? Dwayne likes the music playing here. 7 Bridges Road, apparently. David Allen was going back to ticket sales here. I do not trust their ticket sales in the new stadium to Titans fans. My guess is a decent percentage of are sold to ticket companies. So like today, filled with visiting fans when popular teams are in town, empty for Jags. Well, I think the first year or 2, everybody in Nashville is going to want to see the building. And so whether they're passionate Titans fans or not, whether the team's good or not, it's going to be a lot of Nashvillians in the building to see the building and experience the building. And then that's why the Titans need to be good in 2027, is to be able to hook people and get them to come back. So that's a big part of it. Another reason people are buying it is, you know, an investment with resale value like you're talking about. And you get a chance, if you're in there with season tickets, it enhances your chances of getting WrestleMania tickets to whatever percentage of national championship football game tickets they're going to be, Final Four tickets, Taylor Swift tickets, concert tickets, et cetera, et cetera. Who was the last inside linebacker you could say was good without a debate? David Long, you know, had his moments, right? But the last really good one is David Thornton, right? Randall Godfrey, David Thornton are the 2 best ones in team history. And then after that, you went Avery Williamson, what was it, David Long next, and then I'm going to forget. They had 3 in a row before they got Stephen Tulloch was good. But the 3 in a row that they had, they went from Williamson to Gray. Bullock was an outside linebacker in the 3-4. And I'm forgetting the third one, hamstring guy that ended up in Miami, or was that long, and I'm forgetting the one in the middle. They drafted 3 pretty good ones in a row that got progressively better. But they were not standout guys. Gray is on track to be better than they were. And truly good ones. You have to go back to David Thornton. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown? What was his? Jayon Brown. Yeah, and he was the third one. So Williamson to Long to Brown, I think, got progressively better, though Brown had the hamstring issues that were such a pain in the ass. Oh, but David Long was the hamstring guy? Sorry, I'm a little confused on that. Bullock was an outside linebacker in a 3-4. Sorry, scrolling here a little bit. Is there any smoke to Ridley trade rumors? I don't know. You have to tell me where the rumors are coming from. Am I looking to move off anyone else? I'm looking to move off everyone else. I mean, I think I've moved to keep Simmons. As good as he's been, you've got to decide to give him a contract and keep him. Who else wouldn't you trade on this team? I'd trade anybody on this team. I'd particularly, if you're not intent on re-signing McCreary or Chig, two guys whose contracts are expiring, look to deal them. I think that they need to throw the ball to Chig Okonkwo on a more regular basis. He's one of their two best yards after catch guys. He, conceivably Ridley, and DK with DK's speed. But Chig does good things with the ball in his hand. They need to get the ball in his hand. Mr. Callahan, not Brian, but Bill, his imprint lives here. Talked to the two coaches who have replaced him as co-offensive line coaches, and they both said, that they're not changing things. Talk to Peter Skoronsky a little bit about it.
Not too bad. We've already been hearing them. They've obviously been in our room, so nothing too new, I don't think. Obviously a little more compartmentalized with them splitting the duties, but think that the response has been the same either way with both guys.
It's hard to change the offensive line scheme to any great degree in the middle of a football season. I don't think the Titans were intending to do that, expecting to do that, and anything like that's just not something that's possible. On the L'Jarius Sneed front, I understand people are entirely sick of him. Apparently, he's good in the room. He offers some good veteran leadership. And look, the alternatives are bad. Jalen Armour Davis has been bad. I think the other side now is going to be Daryl Baker, or Marcus Harris. Marcus Harris may be better suited to play the slot. There's a question this week about, could we see McCreary outside? Didn't get an answer, obviously. I don't know if they would do that, but we have to see. And the secondary play's been poor. Again, if you go to paulkuharsky.com and you'll read this week from Drew Beatty, a real assessment of what the secondary did in against New England. Amani Hooker, not good. Sneed, not good. Jalen Armour Davis, not good. Roger McCreary, better than those guys. But it's very interesting to take a look at what exactly is unfolding in that secondary, which we thought they'll be all right on the back end. It's the pass rush that's going to be a real concern. And they haven't been really good on the back end. And now, rematch with the Colts, who beat them 41-20 on September at Nissan Stadium. Jonathan Taylor, 17 for 102, pretty efficient, 3 touchdowns. Pittman, 6 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. Chig in that game had 5 catches for 66 yards. That's what I want to see from him. Titans were down 17-3 at the end of the first quarter. Game was over. They're down 34-13 after 3 quarters. Just the kind of thing that is not sustainable, and they're not going to win games like that. And the Colts are way better than anybody expected. Daniel Jones is playing better than he was at that stage. Jonathan Taylor is the leading rusher in the league by 109 yards over Williams from Dallas. Hard to feel good about the Titans going into a game. Hard to feel good about it. It's going to be hard to feel good about the Titans going into a game. But particularly hard to feel good about the Titans going into this one with the way they've played run defense, that run defense minus Jeffrey Simmons. Let's look at some picks. The Titans are dogs, 14.5-point dogs. It's hard to say, that's out of line, right? Sounds about right. I'm 11-5. After last week, I had New England minus 6.5, and I told you the Titans were going to get blown away. They lost by 18. I don't know if that's blown away, but I was on the correct side of that. I had Seattle money line over Houston, and Seattle won by 8, I think. So I got 3 games I like this week. I don't feel nearly as good about them as I felt about last week. The Browns +7 at New England. The Browns defense is pretty good. I like their defense to keep it a little bit closer against the Patriots than some of the recent opponents have done. Jets are +6.5 at Cincinnati. +6.5. Feels too big. I'm going to take the Bengals there. I think it'd be a close game. I do think the Jets. No, I'm going to take the Jets there. I'm going to take the Jets. I think the Jets are going to win that game. And Bears getting 6.5 at the Ravens. Why are the Bears? Why the Ravens on that side of that line? I don't understand. But give me the Browns +7.5. The Jets +6.5. I'm taking points. And the Bears +6.5. I'll take some more questions before we retire and I go eat. Who do I like better long term? Between DK and Isle Manor. I think Isle Manor stands to be better. They're very different types of players, obviously. You'd love to combine them into one. DK's faster, doesn't have a chance to be as physical. Isle Manor hasn't done as well with his physicality, but he stands to be a physical player, and I think has a chance to hold up better long term, fight for balls in a way. I think Isle Manor is probably going to have a better career. Yeah, here, this is a very good question. Do I think Winston's additional snaps will come at the expense of Diggs or Woods? I think Woods has been pretty steady. We haven't talked about Woods. When you're not talking about guys at positions like safety, generally means they're doing an okay job. And I think he's done a pretty good job. I think his Winston snaps are going to come at the expense of Diggs. And I don't think Diggs is going to take kindly to that in the long run. I'd keep an eye on that. Wesley says trades in the NFL are relatively rare anyway. It's not like baseball. Most likely nobody is traded unless it's Simmons. He's the only clear upgrade for another team. That's not true. First off, NFL trades have become far more common than they used to be. Your baseball analogy used to be correct. It's not as correct as it was as it used to be. And you don't know. I mean, the Titans aren't going to trade 3 guys, I don't think. But there are teams that could find value in Ridley or Key or Jones or Ward, Simmons for sure. But you'd be surprised. You never know. And it only takes one. Boy, that article about the DBs was depressing, Scott says. Yeah, you got to get the cold, hard truth about these guys. I mean, Nathan asks, do I think there's any chance the Titans re-sign McCreary, Chig, and extend Simmons? Simmons is under contract, so there's no fear of him getting away. It's just a contract that he'll view as not fair with no more guarantee in it. I don't think there's any chance they extend any of those guys now. Ultimately, I mean, if they like McCreary and he's not going to make a shit ton of money elsewhere, they should re-sign him. You don't want to create another hole. I think the same thing with Chig. I think if Simmons isn't traded, yes, of course they're going to extend him. Give him money. You don't want him to go from the guy he is now, which is happy and productive, and turn into a guy that is unhappy, which I think is the direction things could head. Jets are going to win at some point, Adam. Might have covered this. I did not. Eddie George comments carry some massive weight, in my opinion. Do I agree? Well, 10 years is a long time, but some of those years that he's saying that they've been set back have already happened, right? I'd say 3 years of the 10 years setback have already happened. So set them back 7 more years. It all depends on who you hire. All depends on who you hire. I'm kind of glad he said this stuff so people come to the realization that he's not going to be their next coach. He basically ensured that. With Mason Kinsey called up to the active roster, that's 4 active receivers Sunday. Does anyone get called up tomorrow? Don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Can the Blue Jays make it a series against the Dodgers? I doubt it. I hope. I'd like to see the Blue Jays win. Don Mattingly's bench coach there. A guy has gone a long career, managerially not good. He's a great Yankee. So I would like to see him. The fact that no other team inquires about Titans players says a lot about the roster. How do we know, Juan, whether they're inquiring or not? You in Borgonzi's office? You got his phone tapped? Nathan says he always appreciates the analysis and insight. I enjoy being here with you guys. If you're not a member of Paul Kuharsky, sign up and join the fun. Love to have you. Love for you to eat at Edley's Barbecue. Get the app. Have them deliver stuff to your house. None of the big expense that you get from DoorDash and Uber Eats, which is a huge bonus. It's also fast. Better yet, come to the restaurant, bring a business client for lunch, bring the family for dinner. TVs at the bar, you can catch a game. Watch Vandy, Missouri this weekend. Pat McAfee's at the stadium right now, getting things hyped. Big weekend for Vandy. I hope the Titans give you some surprises on Sunday, and I will be back podcasting Sunday evening from Lucas Oil Stadium, giving you analysis and assessment of what unfolds in the game and what everybody says afterwards. If you're a member of paulkuharsky.com, you will get a text telling you when I'm going live. Just one of the many benefits of membership. Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks. I think I'm going with the avocado salad. Take care, everybody. I appreciate you.